The bench press is one of the most popular exercises out there, and this is for good reason. With this horizontal push exercise, you do a good job in targeting upper body muscles like your chest, triceps and front deltoids. But bench press form can be a struggle. With many moving parts, it's common for people to feel discomfort while doing the bench press or not feel their chest working at all. To help you bench press more effectively and safely, in today's video I will discuss 5 common bench press mistakes and how you can fix them. Let's dive straight into it by discussing your bench press setup. With a bench press, we want to have 5 points of contact. Your head, shoulder blades and glutes on the bench, your feet planted firmly on the ground, and of course your hands on the barbell. We want to maintain these points of contact throughout the bench press, and that brings us to mistake number 1, which is moving your body around while you bench press. When the bench press gets tough, you may be tempted to raise your butt or head off the bench. But this often does more harm than good since it results in stability loss. The same goes for rocking your feet during the bench press. When you actively push your feet into the floor and keep them there, you have more strength potential. So form a stable base when you set up for your bench press. Keep 5 points of contact and maintain these points of contact throughout the lift. Next up, let's discuss how close to the bench you should lay. Because it's also common for people to hit the rack with a barbell when they bench press as a result of laying too close to the bench rack. This results in less stability during the bench press, and it can also result in you subconsciously pressing the weight forward while benching, which is a less effective bar path for training your chest. We also want to prevent the opposite extreme in which you lay very far away from the bench, because then your unracking will be quite inefficient. As a general rule of thumb, have the bar between your eyes and nose when you unrack the weight. This ensures you can efficiently unrack the weight and press the weight up without hitting the rack. After having 5 points of contact and laying on the bench with the bar between your eyes and nose, now it's time to look into grip width on the bench press, because when it comes to bench press grip, we have multiple options here. You can do a wide grip, medium grip and narrow grip bench press. If we look at research comparing the different grip widths, we see that all 3 variations stimulate the pectoral muscles to a similar extent, while the close grip press places more emphasis on the triceps. So if you want to focus more on the triceps, then doing a close grip press instead of a traditional bench press is helpful. But a common mistake with a close grip press is keeping your hands exactly next to each other. This results in unnecessary wrist stress. If you want to do a close grip press, keep your hands at roughly shoulder width. Now, for most people that are looking for chest development with a little bit of triceps and front delt stimulation as well, of course, I would typically suggest the medium grip bench press. With the medium grip bench press, you aim to have your lower arms perpendicular to the floor at the bottom of the bench press. With a medium grip bench, you are able to lift more weight than with a close grip press, which helps with long-term progressive overload. The wide grip bench press is of course also a possibility, but I find it less suited towards most people. Some individuals might experience that with a very wide grip bench press, the shoulder is placed in a more stretched position, which may not always go smoothly if your shoulder mobility needs work. Now that your bench press setup is covered, let's look into actual bench press bar path. And if you feel the bench press more in your shoulders than in your chest, then I would pay close attention to this tip. Because the way you bring the bar down can greatly impact what muscles and how each muscle is trained. With a bench press, you want to maintain a somewhat curved bar path. It's common for people to lower the weight on the bench press straight up and down, but instead try lowering the bar to your lower chest area. This helps you maintain sort of a J-curve bar path as you bench press and helps you press with less stress on the shoulders. So instead of bringing the bar straight down, get that J-curve by bringing the bar towards your lower chest. The 5th and final mistake is about how you bench press the weight up, because it's also common for people to press the weight off of them quite aggressively. This happens when you press the weight up and then let your shoulders move forward excessively. This is again a variable that can take away tension from your chest and place it on the shoulder during the bench press. You want to keep your chest up throughout the bench press repetitions. Something you may have heard is that you need to completely lock the shoulder blades together during the bench press if you want to protect the shoulder. But it's worth mentioning that whenever you move your arms forward, the scapula has to move a bit to allow this forward movement. So instead of focusing on completely locking your shoulder blades as you initiate the bench press, I would focus on keeping your chest up instead. This prevents your shoulders from taking the lead and also prevents the shoulders from caving in. Also, if when you keep your chest up there is a slight arch in your back, that's okay. A slight arch in the back is not harmful and often even desired. Now, there are of course more bench press variations than just the barbell bench press. You can of course also do a dumbbell bench press. And specifically for those that always seem to struggle with shoulder issues and not feeling the chest work while barbell bench pressing, it is worth experimenting with a dumbbell bench press. Because when you do the dumbbell bench press, you have more freedom of movement and can dictate exactly what path your arms take while you bench press up. So you can tailor the dumbbell bench press to your body mechanics more than with a barbell bench press. If we look at research comparing the barbell and dumbbell bench press, we see no great differences for chest training. So I choose the variation that you feel most comfortable with. The tips discussed with your bench press setup and J-curve path also apply to dumbbell bench pressing. For those that train at home, there is research indicating that getting stronger with weighted push-ups directly transfers to a stronger bench press. So if the gyms in your area are closed, you can get a head start on your bench press strength once gyms open by training weighted push-ups now. The last thing I'll discuss is a bench press progression tactic that I'd like you to try out if you have been bench pressing for a while and noticing that you're not really making much progress anymore. Because another common frustration with the bench press is the progress stalling after a while and strength not wanting to go up. This typically happens after you have reached your newbie gains potential and now need a new stimulus for your body to improve bench press strength even more. Something I use with my clients to help break this bench press plateau is undulating repetitions. Instead of training the bench press 2 times per week in an 8 to 10 rep range, now train the bench press in different repetition zones. So for instance, by having one day at 8 to 10 reps and another day at 4 to 6 reps. The lower repetitions will help you practice with lifting a heavier weight, and that can translate to your body getting accustomed to handling heavier loads, also in higher rep ranges. There is research to suggest that undulating repetitions helps intermediate trainees make more strength progress, so give this repetition undulation a try. And that was all for today's video. I hope you now have good tips on how you can effectively bench press to get the most out of this exercise. If you found this video helpful, then leave me a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video.